Hey, what's up, friend? You are you interested in lack of skill? Yeah. Or maybe some suck. I'm just a new guy for the love of game. Wait, don't go. I know it's bad. Times have changed, but not by mad. Don't you know that games are my thing? Yeah, I know it's getting real late. Come on, look at me. I even do storytelling. Also, podcasts on great game subjects. Okay, yeah, I'm not a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. But hey, that's what makes me so unique, right? 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 Hey guys, what's up? I am NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager and the snowflake, and welcome to another collaboration of, well, me and Saint. The Saint's not here right now. SaintWolvinn and I, we're going to be doing the collab once again. It's been a little bit, you know, because times have been a little busy thanks to the holidays, and we're finally getting our bearings straight. So she'll be on momentarily. So for now, we're just going to kind of build up the context and the foundation of what this video is all about. I hope to have some fun. This is a fun one, okay? This is a fun one that a lot of people can chime in and talk about, especially with Saint and I. We're going to have different best and worst moments of Mass Effect, and that's going to be loads of fun. She's always a great guest. She's a lot of fun to talk to, and it's always an honor to have her on the channel. Now, before getting to that, I'm probably going to tell her again what it's going to be about in detail, but this goes in no particular order. I was going to have a list for the best and worst moments of Mass Effect, you know, like have it all tallied out, and I'm not going to do that. I thought it'd be more fun just to think of it on top of our heads and just kind of like collide ideas and thoughts that way, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us can come up with things on the top of our head on best and worst moments of Mass Effect. Doesn't necessarily mean, like, it can be anything, right? I'm going to try to go more in the realm of, like, in the game itself. Like, what was my favorite moments that took place in the game, and what was my least favorite. Doesn't have to be the political side of things, the development side of things entirely, you know, behind the scenes. It doesn't just have to be that, because, you know, we want to, I guess my point is, I want people to know, like, what were my likes and dislikes about this scene and why, you know, and it's, I think it's a lot of fun to talk about that. There's so many iconic moments. So without further ado, I'm actually going to get Saint on the line right now. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And without further ado, we got Saint. Hey, friend. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I see Saint taking off her mic cap. Can you hear me? Okay. You're good to go. You can talk. Sorry. Hold on. Let's get a window of her. Where is the window of capture? There we go. So let's just tally this up. Oh, switch friend code. We don't want that. Stop that. That's bad for business.
Bad.
Okay, there you go.
It's very bad.
Hey, what's up? Welcome again.
Hello.
Okay, that's perfect.
Being fucking creepy as fuck.
That's fine. Creepy is good. You always want to do that. Is that a guitar?
Where?
That's not a guitar neck. Oh, that's your mic arm, isn't it?
Oh, this?
That looked like a... This... Oh my god, from OBS's point of view, it looked like a fretboard for me.
Oh, I do have a guitar. It's just, like, not in shot.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Saint. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm very excited for this topic of discussion we're going to have about this certain topic, and it's good to have you back on. How were the holidays?
Fun. Went on that trip I told you, and yeah, I've just been chilling. Literally, I've been pretty I'd say more absent from YouTube than I usually am, but because I mean we're beginning the year, we're all lazy.
Yeah, you definitely want to kind of, you know, it's funny that you say that. A lot of people do that. They take a break from YouTube for a while. I wish I was able to. Well, I'm not as diligent on YouTube as I used to back when I first started, but I still post stuff on a almost daily basis. But I don't sweat it anymore as much as I used to. I sweat more on Twitch. Let's just say that. So I'm hoping to get to that same mindset with Twitch soon. Just kind of just break through that addiction and just casually stream.
Yeah.
Uh, so what was I gonna say? So for me, the holidays were pretty much the same as yours. It kind of my dad, like, we didn't even really have a family get together or anything. It was kind of weird when my dad told me like 2 days before Christmas Day that we weren't doing anything too special besides like, hey, just come on over whenever and open up presents or something. But I don't know if it was due to the pandemic or just scheduling. I mean, you know how it goes, right? So
Yeah.
especially nowadays, this stuff's really hard to coordinate properly because you don't know who's watching. But besides that, yeah, it was nice. I mean, on so Christmas was fine. Just got to do gift exchange. That was pretty much it. Uh, and then New Year's Day or New Year's Eve or whatever wasn't anything too significant. Uh, I did something earlier that day. For some reason, I can't remember, and I can't. It's not that I got drunk or anything. It's just I just can't remember. But later on that night, I was just reading a book or something and just chilling, just minding my own business because I really didn't want to be out and about during everything that's going on out there, especially how rowdy everyone is these days, especially when in times of celebration of a holiday. I'll just
Yeah.
do that in the comfort of my own home. Like I get a high risk, high reward, but man, I don't want to risk anything. I don't, especially around that time. But so here we are now, our first collaboration in 2021. The last collab we did was we played Mass Effect Andromeda. Well, I made you play Mass Effect Andromeda, and I still feel bad about that because
God, it was literally like it was like literally like pulling hairs out of someone's ass. It was so bad.
um,
God damn.
so and my reaction was like so, I shouldn't have to justify this, but just to make conversation, I was so livid. I was so I've never been so livid about a game before, and I played Andromeda when it first came out. I didn't have the, well, I didn't understand, right? I was just kind of numb to it all until the dust settled. But when you were playing it, man, I was just going at it. Like, I think it's because I was able to analyze it from a spectator's point of view than like the gamer itself. Because as a gamer, you're just kind of intaking all that information at once, like sensory overload. You're just not really paying too much attention because you never know when like a story actually gets fleshed out or when it gets good or
Yeah.
if it's going to be an entire shit show. But you and I know the best about this, and it was just so weird seeing it from that perspective, that point of view of mine. And I was laying it on the game. I was laying it on them. Like I was just no chill. Nico had no chill that time. I'm
Oh my
surprised he didn't.
God.
I'm surprised he didn't ban me.
I was honestly just like letting you rant. I was like, you know what? This is his moment to shine. Let's just let him be
Yeah, shine
with his
through the
rant.
very very bad grease
Yeah.
in my oven or something growth. So
Yeah.
right. So I just released. I told you about the video I released today about where is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is a great video. Everybody should check out. It has to do with the Zot. If you're still there, it has to do with that release date that got leaked. But that's not the entire
Yes.
context. It's just kind of like it adds more fuel to the fire. Let's just say that. But it's a great video. I'm always passionate about the videos I do, but this one I got a little heated, and I wasn't expecting it. It's just you start getting down that rabbit hole, and it's really hard to climb yourself out of the dark hole. But I couldn't help it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so it's great to be back with the great SaintWolvinn in 2021. This is January 11th. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about our best and worst moments of Mass Effect. Now, Saint, uh, we're gonna be doing this like on the fly, and hopefully other people pitch in as well. So don't be shy if anybody's there listening. Of course, when people come in later, there's no proper order of doing this. This is really just pulling something out of a grab bag. Whatever comes to your mind of like what was your best or worst moments, then just let it fly. I was gonna make a list, but then I thought it'd be more fun to just think of it on the top of my head because then it's like oh yeah, I remember that too. Like oh my god, yeah, oh man, that part sucked. Oh god, that was such a great moment. I got all teary.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's more genuine in my opinion to do that instead of having like something listed in front of us.
Definitely.
So, and there's so many great moments and bad moments, and well, I wouldn't say many bad moments, worst moments in Mass Effect trilogy. I kind of want to just talk about the trilogy itself, honestly. Uh, but let's just say the pros outweigh the cons wholeheartedly. And
Definitely.
yeah, I'm excited. You know, if we only talk about like one con, two worst moments, fine. If we talk about is the best moments, that's fine too. Like there's no like scale that's being, tipped. It might be tipped in a certain light or a certain, bias, but that's fine. I can't help it
Yeah.
sometimes. What's up, Mason? How you doing? So, all right. Oh my gosh. So, oh man. All right. Before we
I already have one off the like literally off the top of my head. I already.
So
have
I was
one.
gonna say, let me interject rudely. Where can people find you real quick before we get started?
You guys can find me on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, all at SaintWolvinn.
All right, perfect. And as you all well know, I always post Saints links down in the description below, so you always have the opportunity to find her. And with me, I'm here on YouTube, of course, Twitch, uh, Instagram. Although Instagram, I don't really tie it to like anything YouTube or Twitch related. It's just more social or anything about personal training. Anyway, uh, but I am on Twitter. I gotta do a better job promoting us when we're doing collabs. I think that's my weakness. For the first time in our collabs, I finally posted that on Twitter. I don't know how well it's
Yeah.
gonna do, but I just do it anyway. And then of course I post it in Discord because you never know. We might get somebody that we never expected in the chat. It could be like this celebrity YouTuber, Mass Effect YouTuber. I also gotta tag Bioware sometimes. I should do that. You know what I need to do is my latest video is almost like a letter as well as a where is Mass Effect Legendary Edition type subject video. It's almost a letter to Bioware because of some of the stuff I say in there. I should have tagged him. I'm gonna tag him in the post I already made. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get started. So you said you already had a moment. Okay, I'm excited. This is great.
Okay, so this moment I wouldn't the thing is that like there's nothing about the trilogy that I consider like terrible, but it's like one of those moments where you're like, okay, that something was a little off.
Hmm.
Um when okay, if you don't have the Shadow Broker DLC, well, screw you. But in Mass Effect 2, when you go to Ilium and you're going to talk to Liara, you have like this conversation with her, blah blah blah. And then like you're like, "Hey, why don't you come on my ship?" Like literally the most friendly thing in the world. And she's like, "I can't, Shepard. I have things to do." And I'm like, "Jesus Christ." Like it's the weirdest like change of an attitude or like change of whatever that I've ever seen in Mass Effect 2. Like the whole conversation that you have with Liara in her office is just like it makes no sense whatsoever. Like her tone is just so
Yeah.
defensive. And I
Um,
think it's really funny.
yeah. So here's the thing. Role playing games like this have that problem where you say a certain response, like what you just said, right? And they're like, "Hey, you want to hang out, grab a few drinks?" "No, Shepard, stop bothering me. I'm busy." And it sounds really out of context. Um, because I think what they did is that they just had this default response. It could have been something done in like editing or the way that, like I said, they threw it all together, or the voice actors just at that time didn't do a good job matching the context of what Shepard was saying and didn't have a proper response. That stuff you see throughout the entire Mass Effect trilogy. I've seen it in Mass Effect 1. I laugh about it all the time. Just throw out another example. In Mass Effect 1, when you're on the Presidium and you're talking to one of the bartenders, um, he's like, hey, you talk to him and he's like, "Hey Shepard, how's it going?" And you're like, you say leave, and your guy just goes goodbye, and it just sounds so robotic, and it's like so disingenuous and disconnecting of like the guy
Yeah.
and like how he would feel if you would just do that. Like they could have been like, "Hey man, sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. I gotta go." But that's how these games were done. Around this time where a certain response or certain thing you say, you get a response that's not completely contextual to, you know, what emotional thing or like message you're trying to portray. So that's funny that you pointed that out. That's like that's like clunkiness. Honestly, that's like dialogue clunkiness. I feel, and
Yeah.
games nowadays are a lot better like that. God, I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game that really transitions well when you're talking to certain NPCs and you're like, you know what? Hey, let's talk about something else. I'm like, oh, hey, like Cyberpunk does this pretty well. When you're in a call with somebody and then you talk to an NPC while on call, and you totally like you pretty much just shove off the call, right? But once you're done with the conversation and the guy like in person, then you go back to the phone call and you're like, "Hey, sorry about that. What were you saying?" "Oh yeah, we were talking about this." Like that is really cool, and that's something that the Mass Effect trilogy didn't have at the time, and I think it was just because it wasn't invented yet. You get
Yeah.
games like Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm pretty sure does a really good job, even though Red Dead Redemption 2 is there's not very much choice making. So maybe it wasn't that good of an example, but like Cyberpunk is probably the best example. But in terms of like fluidity and how conversations go, Red Dead Redemption 2 does a good job, even though it's more on a how do I say more streamlined compared to Mass Effect. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was better in Mass Effect Andromeda. It's really hard to tell because I was so angry when you were playing it.
I was so pissed at this game that
I was so rant. I was just so down the rant rabbit hole. Like I couldn't contain myself. I was like a fucking Krogan on roids or something. But
definitely.
but that's really good. I that's a you can say that's a bad thing about it, like a worse thing in the Mass Effect games, because yeah, the now that I think about it, Mass Effect Andromeda had that. Remember when I was talking to you like creepy writer style when I'm talking to Sylvan, Suvi, whatever the hell her
Yeah.
name is? I
Sylvan.
I wasn't trying to hit on her, and I was just being nice, and it turns out to where I'm like hitting on her to where I want to take her to my cabin and have whatever my way with her as a creepy writer, and it translates into a creepy conversation. She's like, "No, not into you, bro. You're weird." So I guess that's always been around with Mass Effect. It was those weird contextual disconnects of like what you're trying to say as Shepard and what you get out of it at the end is not something you completely want. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's funny. Like you can pick it up so fast. Like I said, the bartender on the Presidium, like on the Citadel, is a prime example of how like disconnected Shepard was with him. He just didn't
Yeah.
even give a fuck. It just leaves that conversation. He's like goodbye, and it's just
There
super
was
awkward.
there was actually like a part like in Mass Effect 3 in the Citadel DLC where like it's funny because like you get trapped in this pod and then like your squad mates like just literally talk about that. Like you only say I should go. And it's like a whole section of like the squad mates talking about how you don't know how to say goodbye. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, at least they're caught. Like, at least they know about it, right? At least they're self-aware.
that's because which this is like okay. I wouldn't consider this a worse moment in Mass Effect, but other people do. I guess this was like a complaint. I guess the Citadel DLC was too on the nose and too like fan service, I guess. And I'm like, my defense on that was like, I think it's good that we got fan service because guess what? We just got the Mass Effect 3 ending. So, you know, people are hurting real bad. So you want it to be like, hey, Mass Effect's good. Remember? Ha ha ha. Fun with friends before they all die. Or,
For
you know, before shit hits the fan in the worst possible way. So
yeah.
that shit is actually really funny. And I appreciated the humor that they had. Um, because you got to see all the characters be really like in their zone, in their own persona, talking to Shepard in all kinds of ways, and just being like having the opportunity of like picking anyone from your party from all three games at the end was super cool. I don't mind fan service like that. So of course I'm gonna pick Garrus. I'm gonna pick Rex. 110% every fucking time. I think I picked the same people the entire Citadel mission. I held nothing back, you know. So,
Yeah.
and you know, like you said, like it's almost like fourth walling, when they're pointing out like the stuff that fans have picked up and joked about and memed about. It's almost fourth wall breaking. Like at a moment like that, what you just said about Shepard being like you don't know how to say goodbye. It's like something that where they would look at the camera and be like, right, guys, you know, like nodding their
Yeah.
head at us. So yeah, some people found that like IGN thought there was like too much humor in it. That was like their gripe about it. I thought it was fine. I thought the Citadel DLC
I love that
was
DLC. Like
fantastic.
I don't get why people are just overall just strange. Okay? They literally like they will find a criticism in literally everything. Something could be perfect and they will find a criticism
Yeah,
for it. It's fine. Like fan service is fine. I think we actually from BioWare nowadays we need more fan service.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
We need like
I liked it.
a parade from Bioware, just them throwing out free copies of Legendary Edition. Go.
Just like shooting Miranda plushies everywhere.
Wait, that could tie into like a worse moment for you. Did you like Miranda, or did you not?
Did you not?
Yeah, I haven't finished
No.
that statement properly. Okay, so that could be another worse moment for you is because you didn't like her character.
I loved her character. Like the thing what I don't get about Miranda, like in the beginning she's a bitch. Like I hated Miranda. But like when you like forward the story, Miranda's an awesome character. And my like I think my worst moment, I guess my pet peeve with Mass Effect particularly is the
Yeah.
fact that she's such an underdeveloped character. Like there was so much she was such a nice character. I find her way more interesting than someone like Ashley, and she got like half the screen time on Mass Effect 3, which kind of pisses
Mm,
me off, to be
yeah.
honest.
Okay. So it's like you liked her as a character and what she did, but you didn't like how her material was treated in the end, pretty much. Which
Basically,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's definitely like a tug of war battle or a teeter totter battle. I mean, I agree with that. Every time I remember every time I saw Miranda, I always enjoyed the conversations with her, and I think there was a reason behind why she was being all like weird and you know absent. You know, they try to come up
Yeah.
with some like you know easy like scapegoat, you know, like I can't be spotted. I'm in trouble. I'm running away from something, or I'm on a hot lead. And then when you do her mission with her dad and stuff, that was a badass mission. That was great.
Yeah.
That's and so much more obviously would have been so much more could have been impacted or impactful if she had more of a spotlight, especially on what you did with her in the second game. So thank God you spent a lot of time with her in the second, pretty much the entire game in the second game. So at least we have that. But yeah, the third game, like, oh my God, I remember I was watching when you video, and I talked to you about this video of Miranda Lawson, like being all like crying and teary eyed when you break up with her or tell her that you're into somebody else. I'm like, oh my God, this is depressing. And this is when she comes to you in person and you talk to her. It's so
Yeah.
depressing. You feel so bad. Oh my God.
It's like, oh, I'm such a crappy human being.
Um,
Why?
But the thing is, like, Miranda is like her, um, like you cannot. It's so great because she is a biatch in the beginning of the game. Like she just doesn't think like you're worth it. You know, they spent billions of dollars on rebuilding this fucking guy for what? You know, just to die again or something. You know, so you were getting
Yeah.
some shade thrown at you, some disrespect, and Shepard's like, "Yo, like, what the fuck? Like, who pissed in your coffee this morning, bitch? You know, like, what the fuck? You know, you got something to say?" And you know, later on, you find out why she's the way she is. You know, she was the rich girl. Everything was fed to her on a silver platter, even her implants and everything. She's supposed to be this perfect human being, but it turns out she's the most broken deep
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Literally like the most emotionally scarred
Yeah,
character.
because you know she throws this front on the outside, but she's like that princess that's trapped in like a castle for so long and just cooped up, can't do anything, always has to worry about daddy not letting her do anything, always like being bossy and just treating her like crap. It's kind of like that, you know, abusive relationship.
Yeah.
So you know and you find that out. It's great, man. Saint, you're just on fire. This is great. It's
Oh, and
perfect.
I could go for days. Like I have a question for you, actually.
Okay.
What do you think that okay, character-wise, as in the characters that we met and lived with and blah 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 in Mass Effect 2, do you think that Mass Effect 3 just completely wiped them out? Like you could easily go character-wise from Mass Effect 1 to 3 and it'd be almost the same.
Oh God. You know, a lot of people are gonna say yes, just because of the ending, strictly by the ending of Mass Effect 3 and how the writing was lazy and convenient at the same
Yeah.
time. Uh, because of the shit that went behind closed doors, and like the original storyline for Mass Effect 3 was gonna be way cooler and way more badass. Um, like I would say, yeah, they were pretty much wiped out because so even with the extended cut, it was the best that they could do, apparently, and it only did so much. It still didn't. It still wasn't the way that we want these characters to go out. You know, we didn't get that closure, and so that's why they did the Citadel DLC.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the Citadel DLC was supposed to be the closure for all our characters. Because I mean, for crying out loud, you take a family photo together, because that's supposed to be like our last greatest moment together before we go into hell on Earth, literally, and you know, and then we get the Mass Effect 3 ending. So with that, it's a mixed bag of a lot of different emotions coming into play. If someone was playing Mass Effect 3 for the first time today and played all the DLCs, got the Mass Effect 3 ending, they would probably be okay. They probably would be like, "Yeah, that was an okay ending. It wasn't the worst ending. Definitely wasn't the best ending, but it was an ending that I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is fine." But since how we got completely mind fucked from day one with Mass Effect 3, with the ending, and then they try to kind of double back and try to help us forget how terrible job they did with Extended Cut and the Citadel DLC. It's it was a necessary evil. I hate to say that about the Citadel DLC because it was fun as hell, but it was a necessary evil to have to help uh, rectify the damage that they did to the fans, the followers, and supporters. So I agree that they totally destroyed a lot of the characters, pretty much every character with the original ending, but they kind of softened the blow with the Citadel DLC and the extended cut. Um, if we got, like I said, if they got that original storyline for the third game, it would have. If Drew Carpesian and what is it, Mark Walters? I always forget his name. If they would have had that creative freedom the way they wanted it to end, it would have been fucking gold. It's just
Yeah.
I could just see it because we've seen it in Mass Effect 1 and 2. So why not 3, right? Third time's the charm. Not this time around. So yeah, just the treatment of the characters by the end of the third game just wasn't enough. And there's some, you know what? There's some damn good moments in Mass Effect 3 with your characters. Okay, there's a very touching moment with Liara T'Soni when you're on Earth, when it's super quiet and it's the calm before the storm, and that shit always builds up the most fucking hype in anything like movies, video games. I mean, even in music, when you got the build up, like the interlude, and then it goes to the final chorus, or something like that. You
Yeah.
have a very touching moment with Yara where you kind of like go into like this mind meld dimensional thing, and it's so touching. Like you guys connect on a whole another spiritual level, and I thought that was great. Like that was a very touching moment. That was like one of the key character moments with you and Liara, which was great. Uh, Now with Garrus is another example. Hanging out with Garrus, doing that sniping exercise with him was fucking awesome. Like that was cool. You're hanging out, having a good time, despite everyone else in the galaxy just burning alive.
You're
which
just there.
which is which is so. I thought they did a good job with that in that regard because you're doing all this stuff on your own time and what you can do, and that's where Shepard's character just starts being like starts taking the heat like really bad because it really stresses him out. It's like, man, I'm just sitting here and there's millions of people getting wiped out right now, millions of lives being taken, and I can't do anything about it right now. So that's what makes these little pocket moments with your characters so good when you get on such a great connecting level. And like I said, there were some really prime key moments like that in 3. But unfortunately, to end this, it wasn't enough. It wasn't justified 100%. It's probably justified maybe like 25 to 50%. 50% because I'm generous.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, that was another good one. Damn, Saint. You can do this all day. So, I'm going to go with one of my best moments.
All right, go.
Okay. One of the best moments of the entire trilogy, okay, and I think it still is in the top 3 for me, is Mass Effect 1. This is what sold me on this entire franchise. Was at the end of the first game, when you go to the Citadel, you're trying to take out Sovereign, you're trying to beat up Saren, taking both villains down. Very cool final level of the game. Fantastic job. You beat Saren, and then it's great. You have a choice to decide if you want the Citadel or the Council to live or not. So you decide what you would do there. It doesn't matter. In the end, you beat Sovereign. He crashes into where you're at on the Citadel, and you think Shepard's dead. Like your teammates said, he didn't make it out alive because the fucking Reaper tech just smashes right into you. And then it was done so perfectly back in 2007. Like if you watch it now, it's a little dated, but at the time it was mind blowing. They did it so perfectly where your characters hear something or see something and they see him in the distance and you're like, oh shit, it's Shepard, dude. Like you kind of expected to see him anyway, but just the way it was executed. And then he just stands up on fucking Pride Rock. It's literally Pride Rock from The Lion King. And it plays the most epic fucking music, and then you walk off and you got a smile on your face, and then it's like, oh my god. And then it goes into like the scene where you're talking to the council and how things are gonna be, and then it transitions to your character, standing in front of whatever alignment you went with, a Paragon background or a Renegade, and it plays the most fucking dope music ever. And then the credits roll, and the credit song is so good. Like the last like 10 minutes of Mass Effect is so perfect, it's so gold. Or you can say that entire last level, just everything that happens is so perfect. But that key moment where he stands on Pride Rock is one of my best moments in Mass Effect. It's still probably on top, for sure.
Okay. I'd honestly have to agree. Like I think one of the moments that I most enjoyed, like out of Mass Effect, like the original one, was definitely that ending. That ending was so good, and it was just so epic. You just felt like a fucking god. like a
Yeah.
Greek god who just fucking slayed
And
everyone around. Like
well,
it was,
yeah, yeah, and that's how they did it. When you were on Pride Rock, if you remember watching Lion King, I hate to bring up the past with a lot of people with Lion King, um, when when Simba is like at the end where it's all Scar's dead, the
yeah,
hyenas killed him or whatever, and then Simba has to like walk on Pride Rock, plays the epic tune. He goes on the top of Pride Rock and he does a roar, and the lights come in and all the animals are celebrating. That's basically how it was. He was like it's like this. He was like this monarch, like you said, this god, this idol that people look
yeah,
up to, and that is how it happened for me. Like I was sold on this shepherd character. I was sold on this story. I remember my older brother was right next to me, and we both looked at each other. We were like, "Holy shit! This is so fucking cool!" We were like nerding out with like slobber everywhere, like Creepy Rider style. And it was just that, like I said, it was such a special moment, and it's probably one of my favorite gaming moments of all time. Like I know that's kind of a bold claim to make, but it's like whenever I think of Mass Effect, I just think of that one pivotal moment. Because, like I said, the buildup was so good to that entire, like from start to finish with that game. It was so solid. And even if you travel around in the Mako doing boring shit on the planet stuff, like you don't necessarily have to do that. You don't have to explore the galaxy. You can really cut corners if you want to do that. That's fine. I'm glad it's optional. And there's only a couple mandatory times where you have to use the Mako. When you're on Novaria or if you're trying to find Liara to Sony, that's fine because it's not that long and it's part of the story. But
yeah.
yeah, that's what sold me because I didn't hear. Okay, here's the thing. This is controversial right here. We can actually go to one of my worst moments of Mass Effect. You ready for this? Okay, this is a big one.
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
The Mass Effect 2 ending, I did not like. Okay. And here's why. You ready for this? Okay.
Yes.
So, the last Mass Effect 2 to me was 99% fantastic. The 1%, the 1 fucking percent was the ending to that game. And here's why. The suicide mission is, okay, that entire fucking thing is so fucking cool. I'm nerding out a huge here saying, but I can't help it. It's his passion.
I can tell.
The suicide mission was the most genius thing that any RPG developer could have ever done because there are so many ways to come out of that. You can have everybody survives, 2 people survive, nobody survives, everybody dies, including Shepard, and that could be the end of your story. Everybody dies, and there's no Mass Effect 3 for you. So there are so many ways to play that entire mission out, and like I said, the music, the hype, and you can say what you will about the end boss, whatever. At least it's an end boss. I'm not going to complain too much about a human Reaper. It's fine.
Yeah.
Terminator Reaper, pretty much. But that entire mission was so good. It was so perfect. And I loved every second of it. Like, you have to think. You fucking have to think. And you have to know your characters. You have to have... It's like, if you can't even... Like, you have to take the time out of your game if you want to get the best ending. You have to put the work in, which I really like. Make your ship great. Do all your loyalty missions with your companions, and you're not even safe once you get inside the collectors or the main collector's base. Now you have to choose the roles on who does what, and you're on a time crunch. Depending on how soon you do the suicide mission, you might have the psychologist chick die. I can't remember her name. The red-haired chick. She might die because you weren't there on time. And I was like, oh man, it's like so sad how she dies. She gets grinded up into mulch, bloody mulch. But you might not be able to save the doctor as well. Chakwas, that was the other one. But anyway, that's perfect until you get to the very end when you're... Like, I just didn't like this ending because you get on your ship, it's Shepard walking, he's looking at his crew, they're all doing nods, like, haha, yeah, cool, yeah, we made it. And then you just look at this manifest, and then it just automatically cuts to the outside of the Reapers, right? Just outside of the galaxy, and it plays some cool tune, and then that's it. For some reason, I didn't like that. I didn't like how it just cut to black right away. I liked how it just a smooth, dope transition from Mass Effect 1 on how all that happened. You save the Citadel, You talk to the council. You walk off like a fucking badass after saving the
Yeah.
galaxy for a time, and then it shows this cool picture of you in front of, whatever alignment you go with, Paragon, Renegade, and then you see your ship fly into the horizon of the planet or the atmosphere, or whatever, and then the credits just fucking roll with a dope song. It wasn't like that for me in the second game. I hated how it was just like, but, and that was it. It seemed like it was just so rushed. That's just that 1%. Just that one, like, 30-second ending. Just kind of, it didn't ruin the game for me, but it wasn't my favorite. If anything, I like Mass Effect 3's ending better. Oh, shit!
Damn.
Oh, snap!
People then just like literally just start flooding your DMs. But oh my god, you're just a fucking noob. You're like you don't know what you're talking about. Ugh, Christ.
So, thanks for responding to Karaspi. I was on a roll there. I love the Mass Effect trilogy, and I'm so excited to see what the Legendary Edition looks like. Yes, Karaspi, thanks for stopping by. If you're just new to the channel, I just released a video today. I'm like double downing right now, or double dipping. Talking about where the hell Mass Effect Legendary Edition is at right now in terms of where the gameplay is at. Where's the hook, right? And I talk about some other stuff in that, so feel free to check that out. I'll go all out on that video. It was good. So yeah, just that 1%, Saint. Did you not feel that too? Did you feel kind of like it ended abruptly? That's my point. It ended abruptly.
Yeah, I definitely say I agree. You know, I'd say like if you get Mass Effect 3's ending and you add the Citadel DLC, it's really not like it's not that bad. But Mass Effect 2, yeah, I feel the same. Like I feel like I could have used like maybe a little bit more fan service. I think they were a little too off the fan service. Like, okay, we already like made all this effort for this game, let's just, just
Right.
put some
Right.
little special effects fading and yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Oh my god. So
Yeah.
they got like they must have gotten like developer fatigue, right? Like editing is hard fucking work. And yeah, by the
Yeah.
end of it, you're pretty much just like, "Oh my god, get out of my sight." Right?
Yeah, screw this.
Like you learn
Like, yeah, I'm done.
you learn to dislike your own videos by the end of it if you're working very hard on it. And it sucks. And it happens when you are in too much of a crunch, and I'm sure they were with Mass Effect, all the Mass Effect games, besides one, because Bioware wasn't owned by EA at the time. But Mass Effect 2 and 3, I'm sure they were on a crunch. We've seen it. Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age 2, need I go on type deal. So that was probably it. Just throw in some, thing where you see your guys at the end, and then boom, it abruptly ends. There was no like conversations with your teammates at the end. Like how
Yeah.
at the end of Mass Effect 1, you got to talk to the Citadel. You got to hang out with Captain Anderson and stuff, and then you walk off. Like that was perfect. And you know what's funny? IGN made an article. This is an article that I actually agree with them on for once. And this is after the third game came out. They were saying that Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect 1 did better what Mass Effect 3 ending was. Or it's something like this. Like Mass Effect 1's ending was supposed to be the ending for Mass Effect 3, like how it was executed. It should have been like that, or Mass Effect 1 did it better. And it did. Wholeheartedly. And like Mass Effect 1 was on such a smaller scale and like where everything was taking place. And you know what's funny, Saint, is that both games, Mass Effect 1 and 3, well, I was about to say ends with this. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you go to the Citadel in Mass Effect 3. Yeah, God. I just like totally went blank. So they both end in the same place at different times, and one is overshadows the other by far. So Demarion Rutledge says, "Thanks, dude, for coming by." That's not what he says. I'm just thanking him. He's like thanking us. Hey, thanks for coming by, guys. Oh, you're welcome. So I've been a Mass Effect fan since day one. I'm looking forward to the Legendary Edition. Sorry, hiccups. I am playing Mass Effect 3 right now. Citadel DLC is my favorite in the entire trilogy. And that's great. And I think that it should be. Because that, the Citadel is a love letter to the fans. That's pretty much what it is, a love letter. And I'm glad that you liked it. I am a woman, by the way. Well, I apologize. Hello,
You ignorant.
I know.
piece of kidding.
Let me drink my bullshit cup.
You fucking assume. Are you
Alright.
assuming that just like because she likes gaming, she has to be a dude?
And she's on YouTube, so it's gotta be a dude.
It's gotta be a man. Like, what the fuck? I'm kidding.
That's awesome. So, Demarion, that's great that that's one of your best moments is the Citadel DLC. I should have gotten with Demarion. That sounds like something for Game of Thrones, doesn't it? Does it not?
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening in the chat, appreciate it. I'm not gonna. Well, if you like us, you like us. You're always welcome to follow us. I'm not gonna obviously be telling you guys to do it. It's up to you, obviously. Let us know what your best and worst moments of Mass Effect trilogy are. Let us know. Right now we're just throwing whatever comes to mind. So feel free, and we would love to hear all about it.
And this is a special conversation because there was plenty of reasons why I was getting up. Like I was organizing my lights and seeing if I could make it better. I couldn't. And B, I was looking for this sweater.
I just noticed the N7 strip. Oh shit! I just fucking noticed that. Like right before you said it, I was like, "Is that a part of her bed?" Like it was like a weird like camera trick I was seeing. That's fucking raw. Do you have the N7 on your chest or anything?
I have it. It's around here.
It said
Here it is.
I gotta go get it at BioWare.
Here it is.
Sweet. Oh god, I still need to get one. I'm so disappointed in myself. It's because I have so many fucking jackets. Oh my god. I just got the one lift like a Krogan gym tank top, which I love that shirt. But
nice.
I maybe do I have another one? I don't know. I do need to get. I've been waiting for a really dope ass fleece hoodie for N7. Like I ain't gonna lie, the ladies have a better selection of hoodies than the men do on the BioWare site.
Definitely.
I always get butthurt about it because I'm like, fuck, this looks so cool. Because like I don't know, just the way it's not the way it was shaped for women and stuff. It just had a sleeker look compared to like the men's. The men's were just like plain and boring. I'm like, great, cool.
There's I think this one, I don't know what this one's is called. I think it's like N7 Angel hoodie, something like that.
That's dope. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're wearing that. You gotta wear that every time we do a collab together.
Yeah, I kind of realized that pretty late. Because I was like in here, I'm like, wow, I literally have an N7 hoodie and I'm not wearing it. I'm failing.
I mean, at least we're color coordinated with our hats. It's a red hat, right?
Woo, yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, red. Kind of like a wine red-ish.
Yo, you could say that I'm renegade this time around because I'm all red, homies.
Dude, I love Renegade. Oh man, I think the best moments. I want a best moment. Can I say a best moment?
1 second.
Right.
Let's see what Caraspi says. One of my favorite moments in Mass Effect was the whole mission on Tachanka in Mass Effect 3. It made me cry like a baby. Yes, that shit was done very well. Okay. So hear us out. Mass Effect 3 isn't terrible. It's not a terrible Mass Effect game. The ending. Okay, so I just had it was a moment of silence. F for respects, pretty much. But despite the storyline that we got, I still had a blast playing Mass Effect 3. It was fucking epic. They did a great job making us feel and see and understand what was going on. I mean, holy crap. The first 20 minutes of the game, the Reaper's already fucking shit up. Maybe even the first 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Timestamp me. The first 10 minutes, shit goes down. Shit goes to hell. And as soon as you start playing, like, controlling your character, there's Reapers just walking around fucking everybody up. And you get to understand how big these guys are. They're massive. So the whole Tachanka thing is a prime example of size and scope. That entire mission was so badass because, for one, you get to learn about Krogan history, which is cool. It wasn't shoved down your throat. You get to know what Tachanka used to be like. It used to be this lush world and everything before probably the Rachni, the Krogan rebellions, and all that stuff. And two, you got to see the most epic fucking, like, large scoped, like, probably video game battle almost of all time. A Thresher Maw versus a Reaper. That's some Godzilla shit right there. Godzilla versus, like, three-headed Hydra dragon. I can't remember his name in Godzilla. It's almost like that. It's crazy. And then you have the option. It's like, oh, kill kill Morton Solus, or let him survive. And he does his fucking singing, like the Solarian song that he does, which he only does if you make him sing it in the second game, which I thought was really awesome send off for him. He can also survive, can he? I think he can
I
survive.
have I have no idea.
I remember reading it that he could survive, but it's like really, I don't know if it's really difficult or it's not, it's just transparent on how to do it. I never had him survive. He just went out in a good old explosion
In flames.
in flames fashion. Like
Yeah.
he got mad respect for me. But yeah, that entire mission was very emotional, you know. And you got to see a female Krogan, which was cool. Uh, she's she's matriarch for a reason because she fucks shit up too. So she's a perfect match for Rex for, you know, breeding. We'll just, you know, be nice like that. Let's keep it light.
Breeding.
um,
Copulating.
so Demarion says, "I've never played as Renegade. Should I give it at least one playthrough?" Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So okay.
Yes.
So here's the thing about Renegade. Now this is this could be Saint. We'll get to yours in a second. I just want to point this out.
Yeah.
So the thing is about Renegade, Demarion. Paragon and Renegade are very light and dark side options in the first two games, but in the third game is when they really made it more gray decision making. So if you pick Paragon, it may not have been the best Paragon option. Like, it could be good for you as a person, but it can affect others, right, in a bad way. That's the gray part of it. And it's the same thing with Renegade. Renegade didn't always mean like you're a complete douche nozzle. You know, like it was in the first two games, like you're just such a fucking bitch or something. But in the third game, they made it to where it wasn't so, you know, black and white, which I really appreciated that they did that. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, I definitely recommend giving it a shot. Like, you can be a complete hard ass in Mass Effect 2, especially. Blowing up flame canisters, roasting Krogans, busting people out through windows and shit, choking them, throwing them out when you're helping Miranda and stuff like that. Like, you can do all that. Like, it's awesome to do it once. Best Renegade moment of the entire trilogy for me is when you renegade the fuck out of Kai Lang and stab him with the Omni Blade. That is hardcore badassery right there. That's awesome. And I usually play through Paragon as well, for the most part. But that is something I couldn't resist. I wanted to fucking get back at that asshole and just end his life so hard. So
Honestly, I don't know. Like, honestly, when I first played it, I went through like Paragon, and I was like, yeah, let's be goody two shoes, all the Paragon things. And then when I've started to play again, like in the Mass Effect 2 that I'm starting to play again, it's a Renegade playthrough, dude. It is fucking hilarious. I love it. I will
agree.
never go back to being a Paragon. It's fucking awesome. Like, how you mess with people's heads and you're just a douche, like with a good heart, but like overall just a douche. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
completely agree. You definitely got to play both sides of the coin. It's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah.
Something that everybody should do. I'm just gonna post my Discord there in case anybody wants to join the Discord where Saint and I hang out with. It's always welcome to get more people. I'm just shoehorning stuff here. All right, Saint. So while I'm shoehorning my links, what was your thing that you wanted to talk about? Thanks for waiting, by the way.
It's okay. Hi Aiden, because Aiden said hi. It actually has to do with like Demarion's question, like with Renegade. There was a moment in I think all my best moments are mostly like in Mass Effect 2, but like there is a moment where you're in the Citadel and you're going through the shops, and you have the option to get discounts, right? And there's a Renegade option for the discounts, and it's so funny. Like the one, like, oh, so you're saying that I'm poor? Like oh my god, I thought that was so funny. And then like Shepard started yelling throughout the Citadel that this store discriminates against the poor. I thought it was so fucking funny. And I loved it. I love every second of it. And every time I watch it, I will laugh. I don't like how Fem Shep dealt with it though. I definitely like Male Shep better in that particular
Ooh.
scenario.
Okay. That's that's crazy. You know, I beat all three Mass Effect games with Male Shep. Because I liked his I liked his voice acting. I like. Here's the thing with me, folks. I am not a nitpicker when it comes to this stuff. Okay, only when I'm looking for things to nitpick, that's when I do it. But when I'm playing this stuff for the first time, you got to do a really bad job to throw me out of the game. Or if you're doing a good enough job, I'm gonna be sucked right in. Like I am not a hard person to please when it comes to entertainment stuff. You know, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. That's pretty much how it
Yeah.
is. You know. Now, with that said, I didn't have a problem with Male Shepherd at all. Like I liked his voice acting. I like his voice and everything. You know, you can argue that it got better throughout the games. You know, the voice actor was just more comfortable doing the job or whatever you want to call it. When I remember I was done. I think when I was done playing Mass Effect 1 and I started to play Mass Effect 1 again as female Shep, I didn't like it right off the bat. Because I was so used to like the testosterone in male Shep. You know, I was just like, yeah, this is me. You know, this is me when I was like let's see, 2007. I was a junior in high school, so I was still going through, I guess, puberty. So obviously, I'm gonna want to match somebody who's like, yeah, macho, like yeah,
Yeah.
male archetype heroes. You know, that's kind of he's like my role model. But when I went to female
Yeah.
Shep, like just by her speaking, I was like, man, I'm just not feeling it, and I just stopped playing. I think I stopped playing her for a long time, and then it took it. Then I came back eventually, but nowadays, now that I'm out of that, well, I consider myself a adult to this day, but now that I'm kind of out of that pubescent phase, um, I went back and did a whole female Shep trilogy playthrough last year, and I fucking loved every second of it. I think female Shep is badass. She's awesome, and I think oh my god, is it Catherine Hale? Jennifer Hale. That's the voice actress. She's a
Yeah.
fantastic voice actress. She's done plenty of narrations and stuff and voice acting. She did voice acting for some episodes in Star Wars. I think it was Clone Wars or something like that. Because I remember
Mhm.
it was recent. I just got done watching Clone Wars and I was like, what the fuck is that Jennifer Hale? Like, no. She was in Avatar. That's what it was. She was in Avatar, and I
And she's
watched.
on Elder Scrolls Online too.
Oh god, why did you tell me that? I'm gonna like melt even more. Anyway, she's fantastic. Like she's got talent. Okay, so I'm glad I gave it a second chance because it was well worth it playing it all the way through. And when they made her like female Shep like actually look like a protagonist and not plain Jane like in the first two games, which they better fucking put uh, Mass Effect 3 Fem Shep in the first two, like that model. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be really cool to see. Is when the Legendary Edition is gonna have that Mass Effect 3 Fem Shep model in all the games. They fucking better, because that's continuity right there.
Yeah. Like honestly, I think Fem Shep was a better voice actress. Like overall, I think that Male Shep had his moments where it's like, okay, yeah, this was definitely delivered better. But like I kind of like how more she's more expressive, you know? Like she's
Yeah.
better like at showing emotion. Sometimes I felt that, Male Shep felt a little flat.
Too gruffy, too manly, like
Yeah,
too
like literally, yeah,
flatline.
like too neutral. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
too flat. So I was like, there's some moments that like kind of you were like, okay, this is like gut wrenching, and then Male Shep was like, okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
what is
Like
this?
goodbye. I mean,
Goodbye.
so here's the thing.
I should go.
I
Okay,
gotta
sorry.
go.
I gotta go.
Shep, I'm busy. I will not try to bang you. Thanks, Liara. I wasn't trying. I just wanted to say hello and hang out. It's been 2 years. I've been dead, bitch. She's also in Knights of the Republic. Zing! Hell yeah. Demarion just scored brownie points for that. That was
Yeah.
I like that. Who was she in Knights of the Republic, Demarion? I don't remember. Okay, here's the great thing. This is the best. Okay, here's another best thing about the Mass Effect trilogy. I think it's great that you can take. You got your people that like femshep and like maleshep, and I think that's fantastic. I don't mind if there's two sides like that. I think it's
Yeah.
great because I think those two shepherds are completely different people. Honestly, they could be just by the way the voice acting was done.
Yeah.
You get a different message from both characters, both male and female Shep, which is cool. Like I think that's very very well done. Like you were saying, like you might get a different response with male Shep that might give you this emotional feeling that's different from when Fem Shep says it. Good or bad, you might feel more anxiety with this decision being made, or you might feel more depressed with this decision made, even though it was the exact same line of dialogue. It's just said differently. And I think that's fantastic that they both have their own character models. They're both their own protagonists. And there's people that just are fem shep all the way or male shep all the way. I think that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's it's weird. I don't know if it's like that for Dragon Age. Not Dragon Age 1 because there's no dialogue, like voice dialogue for your character, which I'm okay with. It's fine. But 2 and 3, I don't know if it was done the same the same light as Mass Effect was, because the bottom line, you always hear Team Fem Shep or Team Male Shep. Like I don't hear any of that with Dragon Age, with like male Inquisitor or female Inquisitor. I mean I just haven't seen it, probably, and maybe it is. I'm sure it is somewhere, but I think it's, like I said, fantastic that you can differentiate the two. You can like them both for plenty of different reasons, and it's just by the way they say the the dialogue, the voice acting, and it's funny how that works. And like you said, maybe Femshep would actually go this route. Maybe she would be this way, despite on how she says stuff or what decisions you have her do. I know that's just a part of the genius role playing, but there's a reason why they both have default backgrounds for a reason. I'm sure they're probably the same for both genders, but you can have fun a little bit and kind of just play around like
Yeah.
that. You can get creative. What is it? Male Shep is the shepherd is he's not Earthborn, right? He's more. I think he was. Oh God, I have to look it up now.
It goes like space colonist war hero.
Yeah,
Something like
Spacer, war hero, and then his psychological background. It wasn't ruthless. I think it was just soul survivor. Let's look. Mass Effect, Shepherd, default background. I just want to know real quick. Let's see. Okay. So, Commander Shepard is the human protagonist. Yeah, we know that. Whose gender, appearance, skills, and pre-service history are all customizable and have an impact. Shepard's first name is also customized. Blah blah blah. Okay, so the default pre-made Shepard is a male soldier. That's just what it says. John with the Earthborn soul survivor profile.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's depressing.
Yeah, he's definitely got, he was an orphan, and he enlisted when he could, pretty much, and then his whole fucking squad was wiped out. That's really sad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty depressing.
What? She voiced Bastila Shaw? Are you kidding me? And I never fucking noticed this? She must have just had such a different she did have a specific accent for her. Oh my god, how did I not notice that? And I call myself a Star Wars or BioWare fan. So yeah, so back to what we were talking about. Yeah, the best thing about it is you can totally role play both genders completely differently, to match how they portray their dialogue, their voice lines, and everything. I think that's fantastic how they did that.
That's true. I agree.
I'm waiting for us to come to a disagreement on one of these.
Yeah, the thing is that I think, I don't know. I think we have very similar views on a lot of things Mass Effect related. So
Yeah, I think that's why we connect
that
so well, right, Suvi?
Oh my god, ew, no.
That's
Please don't.
exactly what she said.
Fucking disgusting.
Oh my god,
Ew,
ew, ew,
no.
ew, ew, gross.
Ew, no. Fucking creepy.
Okay, so let me think of another best worst moment. Look, I don't want to talk about the ending. That could be like the worst moment of all for Mass Effect. I'm just so over that. The horse is beaten down so hard that there's nothing left. I can't even recognize it anymore. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we both agreed that the worst, one of the biggest worst things about Mass Effect was the Mass Effect 3 ending. Okay, so we can move on from that. Agree?
Yeah, agree.
I'm trying to think. I you know one of the another best thing is just how relatable a lot of the characters are. I think there's characters like that in the game that we can all relate to. Um,
Yeah.
I think they did a good job uh, portraying the certain archetypes for the characters. Um, like Ashley is more she's like I like your how do I say your
The
view
xenophobe.
view on Ashley. It's so perfect. But see, she's that character. She's very, tied down to those beliefs. She's very religious. She believes in God. She doesn't care for aliens or anything. She doesn't trust them and stuff. It's just the household.
She almost seems like a southerner. Like that
Yeah,
typical like redneck that you see like on Fallout 5.
yeah,
Sorry, Fallout. That's that Far Cry, sorry.
yeah, and but but at the same time, she's very loyal, and she does care about you as a character and stuff. But she can irk you. She really likes to set you up and just shuts you down right away if it's something you don't like. Like she can get annoying real quick, but
Oof.
that's fine. Like every character in the game gets annoying. Like uh, and, Garrett's got annoying for me because he was always wanting to do calibrations. Never wanted to talk to me. Like, what the hell? You know?
That's true. Oh, that's so true.
Someone made an article on how to properly talk to your characters in those games so you don't get those repeated messages. They were like, make sure you just use one line of dialogue to get to know them and save the rest for the next time you're on the ship. And I'm like, that makes sense. Aha.
Jesus.
So the worst parts are Jacob and James. All right, Demarion, I like you. I'm so glad you're here. She's. I think I'm falling in love. Oh my god. So Jacob and James
Creepy
are.
writer.
Yeah, it's like my Jekyll and
Oh my
Hyde.
god, Demarion.
Oh my god, Demarion. Yeah, it's like my Jekyll and Hyde. I turned into creepy writer. It's unfortunate, right?
Worst person eight.
So this is good. Speaking of characters that you can relate to, there's obviously people that you won't like to relate to or you won't like, and that's just normal. I don't want every character. I don't want to like every character on the same equal footing, but I think they still fill out their role for the most part. The worst parts are Jacob and James. I agree. Jacob, I love Jacob's loyalty mission. It's very sad and depressing, but
I love how sad it is, how it makes me feel super depressed.
I love it. Like just I like took a shard of glass and
The tragedy is just fucking awesome.
like yeah, he does
Jesus.
have a depressing backstory, which I like about characters, but he's just not that interesting on any other point. I mean, you see him do crunches, and you're like, oh, cool, you're the strong guy. That's great. I think we talked about this. Isn't he? Did we pin him as like the token black guy in the game? That he was just like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm just here, y'all. They're like, okay, cool. Like he was nowhere as cool as Captain Anderson. Let's just say that Captain Anderson is the black guy of all black guys in Mass Effect trilogy. He's badass.
Jacob, I think he was just like the diversity, the diversity hire. You know, they just like put him in like, you know what? Let's be a little different.
Yeah. And like I know he helps you with the suicide mission, but no one ever took him along with you on his group. I think he was just basic. That was his problem. He was just too basic. Because what was his role before hanging out with Shepard? He was just like he was in the N7, I thought, or Alliance military for a little bit.
He was admiral. I think, or general. I don't know.
Who,
Let me see.
Jacob?
Oh, Jacob. Oh, yeah. No, he was just a soldier.
Yeah, so he doesn't really have that cool of a background right off the bat. You know, it's very just default, I guess. Yeah, he's very default static character. That you're like, yeah, he's got my back and everything. That's cool, but like I said, his loyalty mission is the only thing I liked about him.
Yeah.
I loved like his tragedy. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
I like his dark side moments, his downside. Now James, I actually liked. Okay, because James, you got to interact more. Okay, when in any game can you do a pull-up contest with somebody?
Dude, I like James,
I'll
but
be
you
here
know
all
what? I
day.
kind of like him because he's another diversity hire. He's the Latino diversity hire, and I can't, dude, I can't hate
Wait,
on my
you
man.
got Cortez. You got gay Cortez.
Oh, no one gives a shit about Cortez. I like James better. Cortez was, yeah. I no, just kidding. I think James and Cortez were diversity hires, but like Cortez, no one cared about him,
I
and
think
James, he's actually kind of fun.
I think Ashley's Hispanic too, isn't she?
Ashley, no, I think she's white as hell. Ashley Williams, Williams,
I mean,
nah,
she
nah, nah,
could
nah.
be Hispanic, American, white Hispanic. Let's
Now
see.
they're like, oh, we all had a we're all a military family. You know, Grandpappy used to put it, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this is the whitest woman I have ever seen.
I'm trying to see here. She's human. That's good.
Whoa, no shit.
um, she's voiced
Mind
by.
if I read like a comment here while you look?
Yeah, that's fine. She's voiced by a black person.
Yeah,
Kimberly
that's true.
Brooks.
Here it says, Logan Jordan, so hyped for this game. Do you think March 12th is a firm date for release, or will it change? And Yamo Knight says, James is a trash character, like he has no loyalty mission. Well, Cortez didn't either, though.
Cortez was just side piece though.
Mass Effect 3 didn't have many loyalty missions. I don't like no official ones, at least. Not like Mass
No,
Effect 2.
they weren't in your face like they were in Mass Effect 2. They weren't a dire need.
They're like, hey, you want to fuck me? Go ahead and do my loyalty mission. Like that
Yeah,
was
we're
basically
like
it.
okay, but it was good to do in that because you had to convince all your friends that let's go on a suicide mission and probably die.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely the best way to go because it would give you the best ending too. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 didn't have those kind of loyalty missions. It was more of
Um,
a
yeah,
fuck trait.
it was more streamlined with a lot of the stuff you did with your teammates. So yeah, maybe you're right. Like I always thought it was cool that James, like you do some like boxing with him and stuff, and you take him with you in like the beginning missions of the game. Um, I liked how he was like this no bullshit like grunt. You know, you convinced him to join the N7 program, which is cool. You know. Uh,
Yeah,
and you get to do a pull up contest with him, which I thought was dope, which you don't get an achievement for. And I'm like, great. Um,
I
but
just wasted my time doing
but
fucking
if I
pull-ups.
had to pick 110%,
James.
James all the way. Like Jacob, just even if he got a loyalty mission, he was still a very static character. I just
He
felt
was
like
so boring.
I just like James because I don't know. I liked his behavior and stuff. I didn't mind him. I guess I'm the outlier here. Um,
No, like I completely agree, honestly. Like I'm playing Mass Effect 2 and Jacob is just uh he's so annoying to talk to and I'm like, okay, I need to do your like loyalty mission so you won't die, but it's just so annoying. Like talking to him seems like a chore. Like
yeah.
that's the thing. Talking to him seems like a chore.
That's how it was with Caden. Caden and Jacob were my least favorite characters. To answer your question, Lugan Jordan, sorry about that. Um, I'm gonna say it again, and I'll say it on here real quick, of course, since we're all here having a good time. I it's up in the air. It's a rumor. It's not set in stone when if March 12th is a release date. I'm just gonna wait until BioWare says it or EA announces it. Um,
I made a video about that.
exactly. Fuck, I can only imagine how many other people did too. I made like a few videos. Just this video I made is talking about where the fuck is Mass Effect Legendary Edition? Where is the gameplay? Where is the concrete evidence that this thing is actually real, right? And then I talk
Yeah.
about the release date a little bit. It just adds context. But anyway, it's all a rumor right now. I have to see it to believe it. That's all I'm going to say on that. With the daddy issues, Ashley, um, Ashley was my first love in Mass Effect, so I'm going to be a little biased on this one. I went with her over Liara. I wasn't used to blue
No.
to wasn't used to mating with aliens at the time when I was playing it back in 2007, so I kind of stuck to the safe area, because
I heard violins every time she talked about her family.
um,
uh,
so Yamo Knight, welcome, welcome. But yeah, I had no problem with the female characters, honestly. In terms of like just their characters themselves, their personality.
oof. Who's the better female though? That's what I Liara. Liara or
Oh,
like Miranda had the potential, but
yeah, Liara
unfortunately
all
her
the way.
story
Like
wasn't that
it's
great.
like for me back in the day when I first played Mass Effect, I'll say Ashley Williams all day. But yeah, it's definitely Liara. Like Liara's hardcore. Um,
And she's like your de facto, I think like she's like the basic romance option because she's the one that saves you. Like the new trailer for Mass Effect also has Liara.
mhm,
Liara's everywhere.
yeah.
She's the only character you can pay to see from the past game.
Although in one of the Mass Effect 3 trailers, they have Ashley with you. Uh, Man, the Mass Effect 3 CG trailers were so cool. God dang.
Oh, it really was.
Um, okay, so let's see. Trying to think of. So if you guys have any other best and worst moments, just let us know. We like to talk about it, of course. Um, this is a lot of fun. I'm having a good time saying. How about you?
Whoop, having a blast.
Um,
Besides Liara, Miranda. Like I don't like Ashley. I swear to God, she is just some like xenophobic country girl, dude. Like I'm sorry, and I'm from the South, so like it's just bad. I don't like Ashley. And then like you'll literally take time out of your day to look for her and save her life, and then she's like, oh look, I'm gonna not trust you and try to shoot you like in Mass Effect 3. I'm like, bitch, I saved your life. I'm the reason why you're walking. What the fuck are you talking about?
yeah,
Like, oh my god,
exactly.
I still don't trust you. You saved my life, but like I don't know. Fuck you. God, I hate Ashley. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have strong feelings.
she was stuck in her way, but so Caden didn't escape that too. He was stuck in his ways too. If you save him in Mass Effect 1, see him in 2.
Yeah.
Oh god, I was gonna say something. Oh crap, what was it? Shoot, shoot. Oh,
Barnacles.
oh, I remember now. Now this is something I didn't realize until someone pointed it out because I did it this way when I first played. Um, this could be a worse moment of the Mass Effect trilogy is the Rachni. Just on how it ends for them. If you do, okay, so if you choose to save the Rachni Queen in the first game, you see her, you hear about her, or really cool little cameo she does in the second game, and then you see her in the third game, all grown up and stuff. Which man, Rachni grow up pretty fucking quick after 2 years. Jesus Christ. Um,
Yes.
that is awesome if you choose that route. But the worst thing is if you don't say the Rachni Queen, you see a queen in the third game, and that was supposed to be like the original Rachni Queen, and that wasn't very good continuity there. That was definitely like a oopsie on BioWare, um, and that's unfortunately that just adds more fuel to the hate on Mass Effect 3 fire. Like I said, I got lucky. I chose to save the Rachni because at that time, even while I was like, 2007, right, high school kid, I didn't want to destroy an entire race. I was willing to give them a second chance, and I didn't want to play God like that. It's a tough decision to make, but it just sucks that it just didn't. If he chose not to save her, it didn't end well for those players that did that, and that's just sloppy story writing. that a lot of people
Yeah.
make in their trilogy of books. A lot of times, authors retcon themselves, and it happens all the time. Um, Even with that's why you got to have editors look through your stuff. But it's hard for editors too because it still happens.
Yeah.
Books, music, movies, and stuff happens all the time. You'll see articles talking about like, oh, top 10 things that don't make sense in this movie, like Lord of the Rings, for example. I'm like, please stop. Please stop ruining movies everybody likes. Like, it's fine, whatever. So sometimes you can get past that stuff, and just use your imagination and not just be like a complete worrywart and just watch the fucking movie.
Yeah.
But the whole Arachnite Queen situation, that is definitely a worse moment for sure because the people that did it the other way, the opposite of what I did, didn't get that satisfaction, and I didn't even know about that until someone pointed it out because I never really played Mass Effect while killing the Arachnite. I always kept them alive. I don't know why. I just always wanted to. I guess I always felt guilty about eliminating an entire species because it's really fucked up. You know.
Yeah.
Are they gonna change the ending of Mass Effect 3? We're trying to focus on best and worst moments, guys. So that's the topic here. Let's try to stay on that. I know we appreciate the questions and everything, but we're talking about best and worst moments right now. One of these days, we're gonna do a Q&A for Mass Effect. We definitely should, Saint.
Sounds good.
That'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, not to be a stickler, guys, but yeah, we're gonna. I know we go, at least for me, I go on these rants a little bit, and I kind of get sidetracked. But I try to bring it back to what the original point was. But yeah, best and worst moments of the Mass Effect trilogy. And yeah, let us know, guys, what other best and worst moments you guys can think of. And don't see the Mass Effect 3 ending. We're done with that.
I have a controversial worst moment.
Okay, these are the best.
Jack.
Okay, go on.
Just Jack.
You really didn't like her, did you?
Like, it's like she's such an unnecessary character, dude. Like,
oh no.
Like the thing is that like over time, I got to like Miranda, right? Over time, I got to like I even got to like the fucking yeoman who like kills herself if you're like, oh my god, I don't like you.
Oh god.
But like I honestly don't like Jack. Like I think she like I get her appeal, you know? Like I get why people like her and why people say that she's a good character, but I just don't like it. It's a personal thing though. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't like people that are too happy and I don't like people that are just like too brooding.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I get the appeal, but I definitely don't share it.
Yeah, I agree on that note that she does throw up this front that's really, she's like Miranda times 10 in terms of bitchiness, and she's got a real stick up her ass. Obviously, it's explained. Like, I think she's a great, like, tragic character who does have a turnaround, because at the end of, in Mass Effect 3, she's like...
Yeah, she helps kids and stuff like
at
that.
Grissom
Yeah.
Academy, and I think she looks fantastic with her Mass Effect 3 look. But,
yeah,
I agree on what you're saying there is that, she really, really makes it hard for you to like her, but it's just like, it's how they portrayed her as this like stock like complete. She's like the epitome of renegade, like the darkest of renegade, like full on dark side or something, for sure.
Jack should have been a character you save, not a squad member. She's too unstable to hold a gun. I swear to God, she is. And like the way she, oh my God, I had such a problem with Jack. Like the way she asked you for a favor is like, look, dumbass, can you do this favor? I'm like,
yeah, she she was really asking for a bullet in her head.
yeah.
What was I gonna say?
God, I spit on my thing.
I knew it.
It
was coming out eventually. I knew she had a creepy writer side to her.
I'm spitting on my thing. No. Spitting on the mic.
Spitting on the mic. So let's see. I like Jack, but I completely understand where you're coming from, uh, and it just adds just more greatness to the characters because always will be characters that will like more than others. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I get that all the time with Mass Effect characters. There's all these different characters in there that we can all relate to, and that's a defined. Like that was one of my best things I talked about Mass Effect is the characters themselves. Sure,
Yeah.
like some of them are gonna be at the bottom of the barrel on like the ladder, but it's trust me, guys. I'm not bragging or anything, but as a writer for my own book and stuff and short stories, it's really hard to write every character in perfect like clarity and description and depth. It's almost impossible. But if you can do a good job for a majority of the time, a great job for whatever characters that just are fleshed out properly, and some get left out in the dark or aren't as fleshed out, it's perfectly normal in story writing. There's no like perfect balance with fleshing out important characters. And the more characters you add to a storyline, the more difficult it becomes. I think the biggest for me when it comes to writing my book was the equality of each character, and I had to think to myself, I can't be thinking like this. It's gonna stress me out, right?
Yeah.
You have to write it to where it makes sense. You don't want to force characters to be in there just to be in there to do a thing just to do a thing. You don't want them to fill in A, B, and C or go down the checklist. You got to make them just have it all happen naturally, organically, and casually. And it has to happen as well, like with certain circumstances. So you're gonna get that with Mass Effect. You're gonna get squad members that aren't as cool looking or aren't as relatable, or you really do relate to them. It's perfectly fine. There are people out there that probably like Caden the most. There are people out there that probably like Ashley or Jack or all the people that don't like. There's plenty of people that do like them. Um, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Like this is a place where we're not gonna just shit on each other for liking somebody else. Like that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because deep down, we're just here talking about our best and worst moments of Mass Effect trilogy, and we're having fun with it, and which is great. So Demarion put it just perfectly, right? And everybody can agree with that. The proof is in the pudding. I thought Jack was badass, but she has some emotional issues. I think you're being nice to Jack, Demarion, on some emotional issues. She was pretty much one giant bag of. She was a basket case. So,
She really was, dude.
but obviously appreciate it nonetheless. Okay, so here's a worse moment of Mass Effect 2 is Thane's romance. Okay, now this was a behind the scenes or developer thing that they had a problem with. Let me drink my water real quick.
Okay.
My agua.
Your agua.
So
Jesus.
there's only one time you can romance Thane, and that's in Mass Effect 2. And there's a whole article on this too. I think I posted about it. I never did a video on it because whatever, I didn't really want to. But I read an article about it. Thane's romance is probably the worst romance you could ever have in Mass Effect because the way it was executed. You only get one chance. And when you get the option, it's just two choices. And they're not very clear on what those choices are. Or they're too clear or they're not clear enough. It's one or the other. It just wasn't executed properly. Because if you say no, because I think no was like a not a no that you were like rejecting him, but it turns out to be that, and then you're kind of fucked the entire time. And I remember reading the article about the developer of one of the guys who was writing the characters, and he's like, "Yeah, that was my bad. I could have done a way better job on like executing your relationship with Thane." I can't remember exactly why. I think it was like he just had to do something real quick, and that's how it turned out. So that's like a worst thing for me in Mass Effect 2 moment. was Thane's relationship, romance. It just wasn't executed very well. Because, like, when you reject somebody, you want to just be like, no. You kind of
Fuck
want to
no.
you gotta wait, like, yeah, unless you're Suvi and Creepy Rider is my fave. Um, hey, Rakanto? Hey, welcome to the stream.
Racconto.
What's up? How are you? We're talking about our best and worst moments of Mass Effect. We've been going on for an hour and a half now. I'm running out of oxygen. I might not make it to the end, or I'll have Saint call my life alert lawyer. If he's still alive. But yeah, if you have any best and worst moments you want to chime in for Mass Effect, by all means, man. We're just here to have a good time, and just appreciate you stopping by, dude. I didn't like Thane's death in Mass Effect 3. I felt like it was the worst part. Okay, Thane's death. Interesting.
I didn't give a damn.
Maybe that was the problem, Saint. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Maybe it's because he didn't care as much. I was okay. So I'll go with my perspective first. I like Thane a lot. I thought he was super fucking cool assassin. Going through like crazy like Drell memory lane with him was trippy as balls, and like I'm sure everybody does this, but when he goes like tripped out acid Thane mode, do you guys ever look at his eyes to see his pupils? Because you could see them. Like, he's got very dark eyes, but when he goes into that mode, I always look for his pupils, and you can barely see them. It's just like a thing I like to look for. Anyway, I'm weird.
A little bit. Little
I
bit.
can't help it, though. I want to see what's truly lying underneath those dark eyes he's got.
Jesus. Psychology at its finest.
That's right. And I got a bachelor's at University of Central Florida. Bachelor's in psychology. This is why I do green screen, because my backdrop for my place isn't that great. I'm in this mother-in-law suite type building with a huge ass garage door, just converted from a garage to mother-in-law suite, and my game wall is all the way on the other side of the wall, and it's like, Nico, just put your computer there. It wouldn't work out well, trust me. Like, just the setup alone wouldn't work. Just the way where the outlets are and stuff. But everybody's got like their game walls. You'll see like popular YouTubers and stuff, and like because they're in their rooms. My room is like this giant bachelor pad. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Thane, right? I don't know, how did I even get to that? Jesus, this is terrible. Saint, you need to whip me into shape on staying on track here.
I literally when you get off track, I start listening, and then I'm like, oh look, a smiley face in the chat.
Oh look, Nico's dumb.
Nico's stupid. I'm kidding. Like the rudest person.
So with
Yeah.
Thane's death, I was pretty sad about it. Now you could say people were upset about it because they didn't want him to die. Maybe they thought it was rushed or forced. His fight scene with Kai Lane was pretty badass. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked that choreographing they did. Yeah, and I was pretty sad. And then you see his son in the third game. It's a very emotional scene. Like if you really like Thane, it could be a very emotional scene for you for sure. Because Thane's loyalty mission is great. Helping out his son and stuff. Have a complete turnaround 180 of his bad behavior per se.
Turn a new leaf.
And then Thane's mission is cool. You see the oh god, the oh my gosh, the Asari, I can't remember her name, but she has like her own tower and stuff, and you go in her own tower and try to find Thane. You hear about this assassin and stuff, and that lady you help in the first Mass Effect too. Oh god, Dantius Towers or something like that. I think her name's Dantius. Anyway.
Yeah, Nasana Dantius, I think.
Yeah. So you see her in Mass Effect 1, and then you have her play a huge role in Mass Effect 2, at least at the end of it and stuff. You go through her entire corporate tower, which is cool. And Thane has like such a dope-ass intro. But anyway, yeah, sorry you felt that way. Oh, God, do I really have to read your name? Jesus. Queefy. I'm just going to call you Queefy.
Bequeef.
God, what a name. Anyway, yeah. sorry that Thane was a worse part for you, and who knows what kind of light, whether you liked him or not, you know.
Hmm. Faceman. Faceman has something. Bioware has a chronic problem with people with ranged weapons charging at people. Loot at Ash approaching loot at Ash. Look at Ash approaching Eva Corey. I mean, damn, Ash, you're holding a rifle.
People charging with
That
range weapon. Oh,
yeah.
I see.
It's really funny. It's so fucking unnecessary. And she just gets closer and like, bro, you're holding a rifle. Like you could like step back a bit. Like you don't need to get closer. That's true.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. That actually happens a lot more than people think. It happens in movies all the time, and happens in games all the time, where silly stuff like that kind of makes you like, what? What? Wouldn't this character have done this if they're trained for this type of shit? Wouldn't they have had like a quick trigger finger if it was a threat? Maybe she probably just didn't even think nothing of it though. She was like probably like, what the fuck is this lady? Who the hell is this? Like she's hacking some crazy shit going on.
But like if you look at it like from a kind of I guess a certain kind of logical perspective, like I don't think for most people their first reaction to danger is like, "Ooh, pretty, let's get close." Like I think it's the complete opposite. Like it's more like, "Shit, I need to get cover and I need to run away and try
I
to
yeah
shoot it from afar."
yeah I agree.
That's weird. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. Yeah, I don't know. They made some stupid
Well,
calls there, but
that's just another thing with the storytelling in Mass Effect 3. You know, it was very there's a lot of things that they screwed up on that were kind of lazy or just overlooked. That's the type of shit when you're on a huge amount of crunch time. That's the stuff that you kind of overlook and you just let it go and just go on to the next best thing. That goes to my point. Like going back to what I was talking about the Arachnite Queen. If you don't say the Arachnite Queen, there's a Arachnite Queen in Mass Effect 3, and there's not supposed to be, from what I'm told. um, and that's not supposed to be a thing. So that's way more bigger. That's a huge thing, but it has to do with like what we're talking about with the whole like Ashley would probably know to be on her guard a lot better, especially when she's been through hell and back with Shepard plenty of times. Just you know, it's like that's like a unnecessary character flaw for sure. Um, so that was good, Face Man. That was a good one. See, I like these little things that people point out. I like that. That's the stuff that I like. Like the whole Liara thing that you were saying, Saint in Mass Effect 2, when you're like, hey, let's hang out, Liara. How you been? Let's catch up. I'm busy. Beep
I'm
beep beep.
busy. Don't be like fucking needy, Shepherd.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
I'm not a virgin anymore. I'm over you.
Yeah. I'm like, damn,
Get over
Liara, come
yourself.
on. Yeah.
Any other best and worst moments? We can do a couple more, and then we can wrap up the stream because we're reaching almost 2 hours. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Totally, time goes by pretty quick. I mean, we all have our best and worst moments. I'm gonna think of another best moment for me. Okay,
Okay.
this one's easy. This one I already talked about this, but this was kind of like proving a point of what I was trying to say before. Let me get more water.
Oh, Queefy says, how do you feel about the elusive man? I think his death was pretty stupid as well.
uh, okay, so that I guess that's the worst thing for you. We'll try to go through that real quick. I think his death was okay. Many things in Mass Effect 3 were executed poorly, I will admit, but the message it was trying to send with Elusive Man, his death was like understandable. It made sense, but probably the way they executed it just wasn't as smooth as it could have gone. Like because the Elusive Man was all about the fate of mankind. He only cared about the human race. Um, he made Cerberus. Cerberus is like a human-only type place that only cares about doing human things and solving human problems. That are They're pretty much extremists, I would say.
Yeah.
And the elusive man at that point was so fucking desperate that he would do anything to gain that power to save the galaxy, and that power is what killed him. Um, and then he paid the ultimate penalty. You know, his thoughts. I hate to go Star Wars, but his thoughts betrayed him. Like he was tricked. Controlling it was not the at the time that you're thinking that controlling was the reason why he fell, because he was basically a huge tryhard. So
Yeah,
that
yeah, basically.
that came back at him full force. Uh, I'm okay with that. I thought his character, his story was fine the way it ended. Maybe the way they executed just wasn't as well as it could have been, but to me it made sense. You know, like absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's what happened. He got corrupted. You saw him transforming into a fucking husk, into another Saren, and he paid the ultimate price for it. He couldn't. The sacrifice he couldn't handle. Um, so that was a good one. Her name was Nisana Dantius. That's okay about the spell check. Danton. Danton sounds like another yogurt company, besides Dannon. Dannon and Danton got together to make shitty yogurt. Actually, I like Dannon.
We don't have that over here, so.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. Hey, hey, hey. What was the thing I was gonna say? One of the best moments for me in Mass Effect trilogy history, and this is gonna be a me thing for sure. I don't know if everybody else felt the same way, but I had the same like hell yeah release in Saint. We already talked about this earlier. Was when you're fighting or when you're in the Elusive Man's headquarters, like his actual base. You're doing that mission, and you're at the control panel in his fucking room. You actually get to go in his room, which is so cool.
Yeah.
The best moment is when you're doing your little computer thing, and then Kai Lang comes up behind you, tries to pull a fast one on you, and then do you fight Kai Lang in that office? I don't remember.
I think you do.
I think okay. So yeah, sorry, it's been a while, guys. You fight him, and he's supposedly dead, but he gets up, and you're typing, and then all of a sudden the renegade option pops up, and you like get the fuck out of the way, and you stab the Omni Blade into him, and he says, "That was for Thane, you son of a bitch," and then he's fucking dead. I was just like, whoa, like that was some epic fucking shit right there. And then you go straight to Earth, and we all know how that turns out. But anyway, that was one of my favorite moments in Mass Effect trilogy, because I just felt like Shepard was such a badass, and you know, three didn't hold back on how cool Shepard could be in terms of like combat ability and stuff, which I always appreciated. He was definitely a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Harbinger, I feel like he should have been the main antagonist in Mass Effect 3. I don't like how he came in at the last minute. So there you go. Another worst thing from Queefy. Got it. That name. So yeah, like Demarion is saying, the Arrival DLC is a good transition with Harbinger into Mass Effect 3. I mean, in Mass Effect 2, you hear all about Harbinger because the Reapers take over the Collectors, and they say, "We are Harbinger." And then at the end of the Suicide mission, Harbinger kind of gives up control, and the main Collector, like, tech overlord Collector thing, and then everything explodes. It pulls like an Independence Day almost explosion. The alien, like, turns around, it's like, and then just everything blows up. That's very Independence Day. So you get bits and pieces about Harbinger. Sovereign had a much more prominent role in Mass Effect 1 for sure. He was a great villain along with Saren. And then Mass Effect 3, yeah. That's the thing, guys. It was just lazy storytelling. So yeah, Harbinger could have been a lot more immediate threat. He was more on the sideline doing whatever a Harbinger would do. And yeah, I agree with that. And he came in at the worst time possible too. He came in at the ending, and it's like, or right before you go to the Citadel, and you're like, oh no. But it's interesting that Harbinger doesn't he like try to run away or something, or he's like in the background the entire time you're talking to the Star Child. I know he has like a deep presence, and it's like the whole time he's trying to fuck with you on making the wrong decision. You know, I always liked that
Yeah.
thing. That was good. One of the best parts was the beginning of the trilogy with the Eden Prime mission. Yes! And it begins so well with the introduction to this Mass Effect in general. The cool little description of the credits, or of like the intro rolling by, your character's looking out onto a planet. You just see your face. People are talking about you. Are like, oh, Shepard, what about him? He's kind of fucked up, but that's okay. He kicks some ass on this mission, but he's kind of fucked up. He's Earthborn, you know, kind of goes through like a very cutthroat, like very straight to the point description about your character, even though you just made those decisions. So it's like kind of in your face. But anyway, and then it leads to like introducing your character, walking through your ship and stuff, and then it's like, whoo, camera pans over to the front of you, and then bam, like that's another defining key moment. But then the Eden Prime mission is definitely a very well set up beginning mission. Um, like you get to see how fucked up Saren is right from the get go. Because Nihilus had no idea they were like brethren, you know,
Yeah.
two Turian specters, and I'm sure they were friends at one point, if you want to call it that. And yeah, he backstabs them, and then all of a sudden you at the end of it you go to the Promethean beacon and stuff, and you see some crazy fucking fever dream stuff. And yeah, definitely fantastic start to a franchise. That was very well done. Um, the mission did a great job, really. I can't forget. You see Sovereign fly away in the distance, and then you see him on the footage on the ship before you go on the mission. So that's pretty damn cool too. Like seeing that fucking Reaper just float away was pretty badass. Um, so that was great. How about you, Saint? How'd you feel?
Regarding Eden Prime?
Yeah, just kind of what Demarion was saying.
Okay. No way he could have been saved. How do you feel about the Citadel? The incident, the clone thing was kind of stupid. Okay, there's a lot of things. Okay, so
Well, the talking about the Eden
Demarion,
Prime thing.
Eden Prime, it was good. Like, like honestly, like I don't have like such a strong opinion of it, to be really frank. Like, it was a good mission. Like, it was obviously entertaining because it needed to be entertaining because it's the beginning of a whole
Yeah.
franchise. But yeah, like it's a good mission. It's just not a mission that I would honestly consider one of the best, but I understand where Demarion is coming from, definitely.
But how did you feel about like the whole setup of it, like how the beginning of the game started, and then that mission, and like kind of like how it led to the plot, pretty much.
I kind of like the beginning more than the mission itself, because as everything in Mass Effect 1, I believe like going around and the gameplay itself is pretty clunky, obviously, because we're talking about a pretty old game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But like the beginning, yeah, kind of like that introduction where they're like, oh, like, Shepard's looking through the window, and you kind of go through a little bit of his or her backstory and the whole thing. I think that intro is actually pretty nice, and how it like just soothes into the mission and Eden Prime. I think it's really well done, definitely.
Yeah, I thought so too, man. When I saw the trailer of like, I kind of spoiled that intro for me way back in the day, and it got my heart racing. Like I was getting pumped before the game even fucking came out, man. You guys don't even know how pumped I was before Mass Effect came out. I was as insane. We've talked about this. As soon as I saw the pictures, the very first like three pictures of Mass Effect on TeamXbox.com. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember that, or just remembers the site in general. But those were the guys that showed the first three, like literally three pictures of Mass Effect, and that's when I was sold. And then everything led up to this moment. Ooh, man, you can like, oh man, Mass Effect 1 was just so good for me. Did a great job. All right, so we're gonna do some closing statements here since we're running out of time. So this has been fun, of course. We've been talking about our best and worst moments of the Mass Effect trilogy, and don't get me wrong, guys. There's so many things we can get into talking about this. Our favorite things and worst things about the entire trilogy. It's a fun discussion to have, and I appreciate you guys all being here. It's really great to see what you guys have to say yourself on like what were your great memories and stuff. And we're gonna I want to do a Q&A. This is like a Q&A would be really great because we're getting a lot of questions more than like best and worst moments of Mass Effect, which is completely fine, but it's not completely on topic. So for those of you who have those questions, save those questions for when we actually do a Mass Effect Q&A, which probably will be our next collab. I mean, let's just face it. Spoilers. Haha. But everything you guys are saying, just being here means a lot to us. We're always going to be doing Mass Effect related content. And so, ladies first for Saint on, not introducing, but letting people know once again where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch at SaintWolvinn. I post different kinds of gameplays, gameplays once a week, game news, and other fun stuff here and there. So you guys can check it out.
Yeah, she's we met thanks to her being really nice and reaching out to me. I felt kind of like a celebrity. I'm not gonna lie, Saint, when you reached out to me and wanted to do something with me like that. Like that was really nice of you to do. Because it doesn't, in general, like if you want to collab with somebody, you literally have to go out there and ask them. Like that's just how it is. Like I'm saying, I'm even starting to think like you and I need to reach out to other Mass Effect YouTubers and stuff and get them on here. I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be big or small. It doesn't matter. Just people who kind of not necessarily have to think the same way we do, but just love Mass Effect just as much as we do.
Definitely. That actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, because big collabs and like big panels like that are a ton of fun to do. And honestly, networking is the best thing ever. And when you get a group of fans together like that, shit just goes so well for the most, for the majority of the time. I say majority because there could be technical issues, but this is something that we can do, in the future for sure for future collab projects, and we want to definitely get bigger from that. Because it'd just be so cool to see, this YouTuber or this whoever Mass Effect fan who's got this many subscribers who likes Mass Effect because of this, or this big time subscriber over here on the other side of the spectrum coming in. Just collaboration with a bunch of different people of all, I guess, shapes and sizes.
That'd be interesting.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. So for me, folks, I'm NikoTheLegend. I've been your host, and I'm the well-mannered teenager and the snowflake, because I never tan, unfortunately. Not the other kind of snowflake. I'll never be that. But I'm also creepy writer on the weekends. So any ladies out there, you can always. Never mind. So let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Of course, you're always welcome to check us out, see what else we have to say about Mass Effect. We're always here to listen to you guys, and yeah, a Q&A is going to be great. We're definitely going to be doing that. So thanks, guys. I hope you have a great night and fare thee well.
See ya.
Bye bye.